Hawks coach. Let's ask Bernie Miklasz as he joins us on the Gashouse Gang. I said, Martz, let's run it back one more time. He's 74 years old. Put him in the Dome. I did that game with him that they ended up losing, actually, to San Antonio. But we did a game together, and I did ask him, I'm like, they might need an offensive coordinator. Would you do it? And he's like, I think I remember him saying he would take the call. Like, of course he would take the call. But, somebody's going to get in there and have a little fun. If you want to keep selling out games, you got to do something to stoke this crowd. Anyway, if you haven't heard, the Battlehawks lost their coach. They relocate the coach of the UFL. They just take the coach and put him somewhere else. So they put him in Orlando because they're building a new franchise there. They think that he's a good fit for that. He did it already here once. He lives in Florida, blah, blah, blah. So let's get a new coach here.
It's a lot easier than, I suppose, relocating an entire stadium, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or an entire franchise.
That is true. And Bernie, that whole Chiefs thing, I mean, I hear that Missouri has lost another NFL team. Look, this isn't even close to St. Louis losing a team to Los Angeles. It's not even close. So they have to drive an extra half hour. I get it, though. The state of Missouri takes a big hit here, though, and Kansas gets the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to play in a palace that's a little bit smaller. It'll be incredibly loud. I know that much, and weatherproof. But your thoughts?
Well, basically the voters at Jackson County, Missouri, which is Kansas City and the suburbs, they were the ones who decided this, because in 2024 there was a sales tax measure to increase the sales tax by a certain percent, and all that money would go towards stadiums for the Chiefs and the Royals, and that ballot measure was soundly defeated. It wasn't even close. So that's when all of this started to drift towards the state of Kansas. No, I get you. My wife and I were talking about it, and I, because she was shocked, and I said, well, you got to remember something. That whole area is basically Kansas City suburbs, even though it's in the state of Kansas, and it's it's the equivalent of just like sort of driving across the river if you want to go to Collinsville or something. It's just not that big of a deal. But it just sounds weird that there's not an NFL team there will not be an NFL team in the state of Missouri. It's just weird.
You know what's fascinating to me in this whole saga is when that stadium vote failed, the one you're talking about, Bernie, one of the biggest opponents for that tax is Frank White, who's a county executive, the Royals Hall of Famer. And they are still looking at building a new Royals stadium in or near downtown Kansas City in Missouri. And I think a lot of people think that will still happen, that they'll stay in the States. They're not going to relocate to the other side. But it was interesting to me that here's somebody who played for the Royals and is like, nope, we don't want any public money going that way. I found that to be very fascinating. Also, just if you guys haven't heard this, we played it on the Chris and Amy show earlier today. This was a caller. So you would think it's not that big of a deal. Hey, the team's just moving across the border. You could still go see them. They're going to be just 20 minutes farther away. And this guy called into 96.5, The Fan in KC. That's our sister station. And this is caller Mario, who's not happy.
Lucas, you are no longer mayor of nothing. You are just Lucas. And as far as I'm concerned, Lucas and White, you on the list. It's the Lucas and White list. Two losers is what you are, okay? You let Missouri down today. You turned Kansas City into a podunk cow town, a.k.a. Omaha Junior. That's what Kansas City is now. Now, you put that in your pipe and smoke it.
So Mario's not happy. He's calling Kansas City Omaha Junior now. And he's not happy with the mayor, Quentin Lucas, either.
Omaha Junior.
What did like how in the heck was the mayor supposed to change the outcome of this, right?
Yeah.
No, wasn't, the mayor had no power to stop this. Now, listen, if every great barbecue restaurant in Kansas City, although barbecue in St. Louis is better now, but if every great barbecue restaurant in Kansas City decided we're all just leaving the state, we're going across the border to Kansas. Now that would be a problem.
That would be a real problem.
That would really tick me off if I was over there.
I agree.
Yeah.
Arrowhead's cool. Look, I
like it.
It is.
We've all
It
been
is.
there. It's great. Last time I was there was actually for the Taylor Swift concert. I took my daughter to go see her at Arrowhead. It's a great stadium, but the inside of the concourse, it's old. I mean, there are only 2 stadiums older, I think. Lambeau Field and what's the other one? Soldier Field, of course.
Yeah.
Those 2 are older than they're all these big complexes where they have little things around it and they draw Final Fours and national championships and Super Bowls and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to be in that mix. So that's what they want to do. It's whatever. I mean, I'm sorry that Missouri lost it. It does pain me to think that it's on Mike Kehoe's watch because I like the governor personally, but this is what happens if you don't have all your ducks in a row. And Kansas did. They had one singular voice, a collective voice, and they got the job done.
And the Chiefs were dealing with the state, the county, the city, and it was just a whole ordeal.
A mess.
I know. Yeah.
I'll say this as one quick point to add. There would have been a time as new stadium projects go up and NFL franchises are basically, holding their respective communities hostage to get what they want. There would have been a time where the Chiefs' contribution to this project, $400 million, there would have been a time where they're like, wow, well, at least that team's paying their fair share, right? $400 million is the equivalent of like me going up the street to where from I live to go to Mac's Local Eats and having a couple of double smash burgers. That $400 million is nothing for an NFL franchise to contribute to a project that is going to only increase their revenue dramatically.
Absolutely.
And every one of those franchises is incredibly wealthy. So, yeah, I'm not impressed by that. But it shows you how much it's changed. Because $400 million would have been a big deal 10, 15, 20 years ago. Not anymore.
Amen
Pocket
to that.
change.
No doubt.
Right.
We're going to talk a lot of baseball on the show. Anuk Karunaratne is going to be with us, the Cardinals executive, to talk about the team's TV situation, but also about the future of the fans and the team and the experience at the ballpark. That has been one of his tasks as well moving forward. So we'll talk about that. Aaron wants to know why the Battlehawks didn't go after Marshall Faulk. Marshall has a job. He's the head coach at Southern University. He's very proud of that. And he kind of drew inspiration from being an assistant for Deion Sanders at Colorado as the running backs coach. And so he is off and run as college coach. We're happy for Marshall. We are going to talk some baseball next. And are the Cardinals going to make another deal with the Red Sox? That could go down. We'll discuss what the possibilities are there with Bernie Miklasz and Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Let me tell you about Genesis of St. Charles, a great place to buy a car. There is no better dealership in town than Genesis of St. Charles, 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. When you roll in there, I want you to roll in there thinking, why do so many people trade in for a Genesis? And then I want you to contact Shay, the general manager, who's inside. He'll get you all set up with one of their great salespeople, and they will get you in a vehicle today to test drive. And then it's a beautiful day. I mean, it's a great day to test drive a car. You've driven by this dealership a million times probably. Off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70, Veterans Memorial Parkway. Genesis of St. Charles. You'll find they give you the best for your trade. They have the best prices on their website, which is genesisofstcharles.com. Unlock that e-price during this signature event, and you're going to find fabulous Genesis vehicles available for you, along with that 3-year Genesis service valet. They drop the car off, a loaner at your house, no additional charge. Take your car, service it, come back. You're like a VIP. GenesisofStCharles.com.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
There, when St. Louis mourned.
My father, Jack Buck, passed away tonight.
We didn't just lose a great broadcaster, we lost a great person and a friend to the entire sports world.
Busch Stadium was the same sea of red the Hall of Fame broadcaster witnessed season after season as family, friends, and longtime listeners gathered to celebrate a great life.
We cannot begin to tell you all how much your thoughts, your prayers, your cards, your comments on KMOX, what you've done out by his statue here at Busch Stadium, We cannot begin to tell you how much that means.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine.
Discover one of St. Louis's greatest treasures, St. Louis Public Library's Central Library. Designed by world-renowned architect Cass Gilbert and completed in 1912, this Beaux Arts masterpiece blends stunning historic details with modern design after a $70 million award-winning renovation. Experience the grandeur for yourself. Free docent-led tours are available Mondays at 11 and 12:30 and Saturdays at 11 noon and 1 p.m. Visit online at slpl.org to learn more. St. Louis Public Library.
St. Louis Auto Show returns January 22nd through 25th at the America Center. Bring the whole family and explore hundreds of new vehicles from the world's biggest automotive brands. Then get up close and personal with the coolest, most expensive rides ever created at the $1 Million Mile. There's even something for the kids with our Mid-America Chevy dealer sponsored Kids Zone. Get your tickets today at stlautoshow.com. Kids 12 and under get in free. That's stlautoshow.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-848-2299. 800-848-2299. Again, that's 800-848-2299.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. ski team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
I'm Kent Martin. For my days of the station to today, KMOX has always been part of St. Louis. Congratulations on 100 years.
We are back on the Gashouse Gang. Our visits with Bernie Miklas are sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer. Bernie, what's the latest on the Cardinals trade front? And is this a possibility that the Boston Red Sox could be in play again? Are they interested in Brendan Donovan? What else can we send over their way?
Gosh, the Red Sox, ironically, in part because of Chaim Bloom, who completely rebuilt their farm system, turning it from one of the worst to one of the best before he was unceremoniously sacked by the Red Sox late in 2023. They have a lot of really good young players, and that includes some hitters. They have some really good prospects that would be attractive, I think, to Bloom in a trade because Bloom's very familiar with them. So, I don't really care. I really mean this. I think it's okay for all of us to have fun over the fact that Bloom's making trades with just the Red Sox so far. It's okay to tease him. It's okay to make jokes. It's okay to say, well, if the Red Sox win the World Series, will he get a World Series ring? You know, stuff like that. It's okay to have fun with this, right? But if the Red Sox make the best offer and he takes it over other offers that weren't as good, well, why should any Cardinal fan or media person care that it's Boston? If it's the best deal, you make it. I mean, so that's the way I look at it. Now, if you look back in a few years, because that's what we do, look back in a few years, and all these deals that he made with Boston did not turn out well, right? Well, he'll never hear the end of it. That's just the way it goes. That's life in the big city. But go for the best trade. I don't care who the team is.
And there's nothing wrong with your first deals as the president of baseball operations being with organizations with which you're familiar. I don't see any problem with that. And I agree with Bernie. I mean, if the deal is right, if it's the best one offered, and you don't think you're going to get another one, then you take the deal that's presented to you. It doesn't matter who it's with. Now, I suppose if 4 years from now, the only trades he ever makes are with the Red Sox and Rays, then yeah, maybe we can have a little criticism here, but there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah,
I can't. I find it hard to believe that the market for Brendan Donovan is anything less than thriving right now. So I think this is going to be the biggest trade that Chaim Bloom will have made so far. There's no question. All due respect to the Contreras and Gray deals, and I mean, after all, those guys had no trade clauses, so that limited the number of teams that could actually be involved in discussions. But that's not the case with Donovan. Plus, he's got 2 years of contract control. He can play all those positions. He's a very, very attractive player. And I think the pressure is on Chaim Bloom, frankly, to come away with a great deal. Not the kind of deal where people are maybe murmuring, geez, that's all he could get. I do think people's unrealistic expectations tend to be unrealistic. I saw a lot of after the Contreras thing, even after the Gray thing, it's like, I can't believe he didn't get any can't miss prospects. Well, first of all, as I said last night on the Sports Rush Hour, there's no such thing as a can't miss prospect. A can't miss prospect doesn't exist. Right. I mean, you make your evaluation and you take your chances, and you have the reports and you have all the information you need. And a prospect may look really, really good. He may look like a guy that, wow, this guy's as close to as a short thing, blah, blah, blah. You never know. How many top prospects have flopped? Conversely, how many guys drafted in the 17th round or whatever, the 10th round? Albert Pujols, what round was he drafted in?
13.
Yeah. I mean, how many of those guys have come out of nowhere and become major stars? So this whole, he had to get a can't miss prospect.
Right.
It's just really naive.
Well, and
you don't get them for aging players who are, it's not like you have 4 or 5 years of contract controls. They're rentals. You don't get them at that kind of deal with the age and the contract control that Gray and Contreras had. I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah, no, it's okay. And I love our fans. I mean, they pay attention and they're passionate, sure. But I do think that as this Red Sox thing goes on, they start to get skeptical and they get all cynical is probably the better word, because if they acquire, let's say, a hotshot pitcher again for Donovan with the Red Sox, if that same pitcher came from who's the top farm system considered right now? Detroit, the Tigers, or the Dodgers, or the Mariners, people would be like, oh, yes, they got, just be based on reputation, but because it's the Red Sox, you got to trust the system is what I'm saying. You got to trust the evaluation that Bloom and Cerfolio and Day and everybody else have put together here. You got to give it time to, marinate. You got to give it some time to work before you start criticizing their evaluations and their scouting, which is an ongoing thing right now with the Cardinals. So that's my 2 cents on that, without a doubt. If you're looking at what could happen next, I mean, it could go down today if they make one more deal. But after today, I think you will see a bit of a pause during the holidays and then come back around full throttle. Maybe not as far as New Year's, but definitely after Christmas. I think today's the day if something else is going to go down.
Well, yeah, I don't think you're going to see it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and maybe early next week or something like that. But you never know. I mean, it's not like it is entirely unusual for sports deals to happen on Christmas Eve.
Or at least come out.
Day. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that happens all the time. So, I don't know. But, yeah, we could hear about conversations and if talks have heated up with another team about a particular player. But and I also have no idea which guy's going next. I don't know. I mean, I know the ones we've talked about already. It would seem like it would be easier to deal relievers at this point because you're not looking for as great of a return. And, maybe the market's always high for pitching, but it's not like you're talking about position players or starting pitchers or, something like that. So maybe a reliever goes next, but I think we're all of anybody, I'm just really curious to see what they're going to be able to do with Arenado.
Well,
I think I think it's going to be a lot tougher than we realize it's going to be to make something happen there.
I think that one will take a little longer because you got to see where Bregman and Suarez are going to end up. Bernie, that does bring up a good point. I think the other thing, if you want to get your fan base going, if that matters, I mean, you just make the deals and just stockpile your farm system. Don't worry about what people's reaction is. But if you want to have a little fun here and you want to get people going, if you end up getting somebody, it sounds like what Heim told me Sunday anyway, right-handed bat preferred, somebody who's versatile, and that would be the offensive preference right now. And that would be the next step, I think. But pitching, I'll take it all day long. You got to keep adding. But if you're talking about a return, Bernie, that would be fun to see some young hitter that could emerge.
Yeah, I agree. And get back to Ranji's point. I wouldn't be surprised if the Donovan thing still takes a while, only for a couple of reasons. First of all, we're all waiting to see if the Arizona Diamondbacks trade Ketel Marte, their second baseman. There's a lot of teams involved in those discussions. And it's also a situation where if all the media reports are true, Chaim Bloom's talking to a lot of teams. And when you talk to a lot of teams, that means there's a lot of discussions, and you circle back and have more discussions, and you play one team against the other, and you try to leverage it to get the best deal you can. So that's going to take a while, much longer than, say, flipping Jojo Romero, So I'm totally patient with Chaim Bloom. I made a prediction, not that I do that very often. I said Donovan won't be traded until after New Year's Day. That could be wrong. It could happen next week. Who knows? But I think we all need to just wait this out, because this is kind of a complicated trade, because it also depends on what other teams are doing in their hunt for someone like a Ketel Marte, even some other guys. So, but he'll get him traded if he wants to trade him, and I think the offers will be there that will make it worthwhile to trade him. I just wonder, and again, I got to remember, it's not about 2026, but with Contreras gone, especially, I'm looking and I'm like, wow, where is the next power hitter coming from? It could be Herrera if he can stay healthy. I mean, it could be. I almost reluctant to say this because I'll get shouted down, and I don't blame anyone for shouting me down, because you can't say, oh, that's okay, Gorman and Walker will get it going. We don't know that. We have to wait and see. I support giving them another chance, especially in a rebuild. But where is the power going to come from over the next 3 years, unless Joshua Baez really emerges as a dude, right?
Yeah, totally. That's the name that pops into my head outside of Herrera. Baez. I mean, we got some candidates out there that could hit into the 20s. I think Burleson has that potential if he's playing every day. I think there's some other. I think Mason is going to contribute a little bit of power here and there. Wynn can hit him. But you're talking about a legitimate home run threat. There aren't any. And so they're going to have to hope that they can land one here and grow them. Let's do this. Anuk Karunaratne. I'm really looking forward to this conversation, not just about getting us updated on his perspective on the TV situation, but also just want to hear his perspective on the fan base, on his experiences so far with Chaim and with this team moving forward, heading into 2026. We're going to do all of that after Chris Ranji tells us about FanDuel.
Have you heard about FanDuel?
I have, and it sounds really great, especially when you talk about it.
Well, let me tell you something about this. America's #1 sportsbook is operating in the Show Me State. It's been 3-ish weeks, a little over 3 weeks that you've been able to place your wager here in the state of Missouri. And an awesome deal that's happening now. If you bet $5, if you're a new customer and bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So football, basketball, hockey, whatever it is, do it on an app that is safe, secure, and really easy to use. So download the FanDuel app now, or go to FanDuel.com/Missouri and get in on the excitement, because it is time to play your game with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Weekdays at 5. It's Rush Hour Sports on KMOX. Hot stove blazing. College football bowl season heating up. College basketball teams making their final prep for conference play. NFL teams jockeying for playoff positions. And the latest in Cardinals baseball and Blues hockey. Fast updates, instant analysis, zero wasted seconds. St. Louis sports, all of it. Delivered right at Rush Hour. Rush Hour Sports. Weekdays at 5 on KMOX.
St. Louis City SC is teaming up again with Enterprise to salute the people who make our city shine bright. The Exceptional Neighbor program presented by Enterprise is back, and now you can help us find the class of 2026. Nominate your friend, coworker, or anyone who's going above and beyond for the STL region, and they could be featured on the pitch during halftime. Go to stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor now through January 9th and tell us who you think deserves to be an exceptional neighbor. Presented by Enterprise.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It is sunny and 66 degrees in St. Louis, and it has no business being this warm. It'll be like this for the next couple of days. The weather brought to you by Financial and Tax Strategies.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Great news, Nick. Legacy boxes are still in stock. With Christmas just around the corner, there's still time to buy the best Christmas gift ever. Legacy Box.
That's right, Adam. Order today and Legacy Box ships immediately. It'll arrive ready to wrap and place under the tree.
Gather the family together this Christmas and collect all your old VHS and camcorder tapes, slides, pictures, and film reels. Then you can binge on the good old days.
From fading over time to risks like fire and water damage, your memories aren't protected unless they're on a digital format. Legacy Box helps you replay those great moments from the past, from Christmas morning to your wedding day.
Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos. All the work is done right here in the USA, and over 1 million customers have trusted Legacy Box.
This Christmas is the time to digitize. Visit legacybox.com/value for exclusive holiday savings. That's legacybox.com/value for last-minute shopping. legacybox.com/value.
No one remembers the tie, the sweater, or the pair of socks they received last year for the holidays, but they will remember the year they learned how to play the piano. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music, and every year in January, Lacefield Music opens their exciting and innovative 8-week adult piano classes to the public for the incredible price of only $29.99 for all 8 weeks. This class is usually $100, but in January, the classes will be $29.99 for all 8 weeks. With Lacefield Music's adult piano classes, you will learn how to read music, play your favorite songs, and you will play with both your right and your left hand the very first week. This year, instead of buying your loved one more things, buy them an experience and fulfill the dream of learning to play the piano. Class sizes are limited and are filling fast, so call 636-778-2070 for more information or go to lacefieldmusic.com. That's lacefieldmusic.com to sign up.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome back to the show. Bernie Miklas is with us on this Tuesday. Our visits with him, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, and Bernie is with us. And what a pleasure to welcome the Cardinals Senior Vice President of Business Operations to the Gashouse Gang. I know he is well aware of the Gashouse Gang and all of you watching and listening. And the Cardinals pay close attention to what all of you want and what all of you talk about. And he is Anuk Karunaratne with us on KMOX. Anuk, thank you so much for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
It's great to have you on. Happy holidays to you and your family. Let me start with this. Let me get right to this one. I know there's a lot of discussion right now about the Cardinals television situation. If you could use this platform to update your fan base on where that stands.
Yeah, so I think, for those that aren't aware of the situation, it was reported, I think, earlier this week that one of our rights payments had been missed by FanDuel Sports Network. And that's true. At this point, we're working directly with FanDuel Sports Network, with Major League Baseball and other stakeholders, just to understand what our alternatives are moving forward. Our focus is on ensuring continuity for our fans. We're very confident that the games will be on the air next year, that we will have, both on cable and on a direct-to-consumer streaming option. And we're working through with all of those stakeholders what our different alternatives are to achieve that. But the most important thing for fans to know is that Cardinal baseball will remain available to them.
How will the broadcast look different, if at all, if it's not on FanDuel Sports Network, if it is something else? Is there a way to know this early? What might change?
I think at a high level, I wouldn't expect any significant changes if we are not on that. But I think it's probably too early to speculate, at this stage, until we can kind of clarify which path we're going down. We haven't spent as much time on the answer to that question as much as just the higher level pathways at this point.
This is a turbulent time in sports because of the uncertainty and the chaos and the somewhat fragile nature of broadcast rights. Do you think there will be a time anytime soon where this thing will stabilize and everything will be normalized without the fear of all of a sudden taking a revenue hit in a deal that you thought you had with someone that was going to hold up?
Yeah, it does feel like my hope is that the answer to that question is yes, and that sometime soon it will stabilize. Clearly right now we're still going through this transition. As we go through it, there's different elements to it. In some ways, there's definitely some financial aspects that create short-term challenges that we're dealing with. We had that last season when we renegotiated the deal, and to be determined, what the outcome is this year. We'll hopefully know soon. But the financial piece is only one part of it. I think as we go through this transition, there are other positives to it too. We're just this past season we were able to offer the direct-to-consumer streaming option to fans, which was a big improvement. Both in terms of reach and ease of use. I think for some people that prefer to watch that way. So at this stage, what we're focused on is ensuring that there's access, that people have the ability to access the games if they want to, and trying to create, some stability in their alternatives to do that, because fundamentally that's where the value comes from, and how it gets monetized in the long run. I hope will stabilize, to your point. But in the short term, that's our focus, is just making sure people can watch and that we keep improving the product and their ability to consume.
Anuk Karunaratne is with us on KMOX. He is the Cardinals senior vice president of business operations. Chris, you wanted to ask him something?
Yeah, whether or not, Anuk, this is I know that some teams have done this. Marquee, for example, with the Cubs, Boston with NESN, Yes Network. There are organizations that own and run their own television operations, and not every team is interested in that. Is that something the Cardinals would be interested, whether it's, sometime relatively soon or down the road?
You mean in terms of just like completely running it independently?
Yeah, like Marquee Network,
that is an alternative that we did consider that. I wouldn't say that it's completely off the table, but at this point, given the timing of when we received this news, it's not likely one of the options for us for this coming season.
Anuk, you have, for those who aren't as familiar with your background, this is actually your second go-around in St. Louis, as you were at Wash U for quite a while, I believe a 6-year period, and then most recently with the Toronto Blue Jays, where you were overseeing a lot of what you're doing right now, fan experience, sales, marketing, operations from the business side. This photo that we have up on our video stream is of you sitting in those blue seats. I got to assume that is right there near the field at Rogers Center. That had to have been a thrill ride for you to see the Blue Jays have all of that success after what you helped build there.
Yeah, it was, definitely some mixed emotions watching from the sidelines. Rooting for the people that were part of that organization. And, it's always mixed emotions when you watch playoff baseball and you're not in it. But I think, I reflected a lot on the journey and my time at the Blue Jays. And, we've talked about going through the competitive cycle. When I started there, the team had just gone to 2 straight ALCS in a row, lost in both. And then we went through a period of transition and, a rebuild. And both on the business and the baseball side, we were focused on, how do we create a sustainable contender and compete and win in the AL East. Part of that was, smart baseball operation. Part of that was figuring out how to engage the fan base and drive revenue so that we can compete in a tough division. So it was really cool to see it culminate in a World Series. And I was able to go up there for Game 2 and to see the stadium, in action after having done all those renovations and see it on the big stage was a little bit surreal, to be honest, but very fulfilling.
Anuk, another thing I want to ask you, you were talking about, we've been talking about the TV stuff, but the Cardinals have a challenge of getting their fans back. And the easy thing for me and others to say is well, if they start winning again, the fans will come back. Except you never, in the state of the franchise right now, with Chaim Bloom redoing some things in a major way, not sure when the winning part will kick in. But what can you do to attract more fans and maybe make it a really enjoyable experience for them at the ballpark, even if the Cardinals on the field are not in their best form? They will be in a couple years, but right now it's kind of a downtime. So that's a tricky challenge. What do you do to get them back?
Yeah, well, I think, part of it is putting in context, what should our expectations for getting people back this year be? And measuring it against the bar of 3 million fans that was set, for a 20-year period with very competitive teams is maybe not realistic going into this year. So I think it starts with us honestly asking ourselves, what could good look like? Most importantly, we had 2.25 million fans come through the gates last year. Most importantly, we need to do a better job of creating memorable experiences and compelling experience for those people. And that's everything from, the value they perceive and they're taking in the food and beverage prices, the entertainment value of the things that we're doing, both, on the scoreboard or other activations or promotional items or things like that. I mean, there's a whole host of things that go into the non-game aspects of attending a game. But for us, we've got to do a better job and continue to improve to make the people that do show up for us feel appreciated and feel like they want to come back to another game. 2.25 million fans in a down year is a number that most organizations in baseball would gladly accept. So I think we have to put it in context, is one. Two, in terms of attracting new fans, last year we started thinking about how do we attract more younger fans. We launched the Friday Night Live program on Friday night home games, which was pretty successful, and we're going to look to build on that. Another group that we're really trying to enhance the programming for is for families with younger children, particularly on Sundays, but not only on Sundays. So I think for us, it's thinking about how we can create, differentiated and targeted experiences that resonate with different groups in our fan base. And if we do a good job at delivering on those experiences, the hope is that people will find value in coming down here. But it's not just one thing. that we can do. It's going to be 101% improvements in different areas that in the end are going to add up to helping us achieve our goal.
Anuk, what does the possibility of an extended lockout do, or how does it factor in whatever decisions or planning you make?
I mean, I'm very much a control what you can control, believer in that philosophy. And so at this stage, we're, planning for a great year of baseball next year. And I think, the more progress we can make towards that on the business side, the better position we'll be for the following year. So I wouldn't say that it's, something that we're thinking about or that's having an impact on the things we're doing day to day.
One last thing, Anuk, and that is what you and I have talked about since you landed in St. Louis, is the importance of being transparent with your fan base. Chaim Bloom joins us every week on KMOX. You're joining us now. Ollie Marmol joins us on the Gashouse Gang on Tuesdays. Wants to answer questions, wants to be open and honest. Just your feelings on that and your connection with and your knowledge of this fan base. I just mentioned you were here for 6 years at Wash U. You've seen it at full throttle. You know what this fan base is about and what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I can only comment on the period of time I've been here and really studying it. I was here. You don't always take it. And once you work in the industry, you kind of start to appreciate nuances you don't know exist. Before that, I'm sure all you guys can relate to that. So, but I would say, obviously an incredibly knowledgeable fan base, one that is certainly able to understand all of the nuances that go into decision making, whether those are business and baseball. And I'm a believer in, and I know Chaim is as well, that like having people talk about the team is one of the best forms of engagement. Even when there's decisions that get criticized, people are being critical because they care and because they're passionate. And so, in many ways, I think we view it as part of our responsibility to give people insight into what's happening. And Chaim said too, he was clear about what he was trying to achieve this offseason. Some of those moves aren't easy, like he talked about yesterday with Wilson. But all we can do is be clear with our fans on what we're trying to do and execute on that. And, that's, I think, very much part of the philosophy of what we're trying to achieve here.
Appreciate your time very much. Thank you for making your this time here in the middle of the day, which I know is busy. It's the holidays and things are going crazy all over the place. Thank you for doing this, and all the best to your family. We'll catch up with you real soon. Winter warm-up, caravan right around the corner. Go to Cardinals.com for all of that. Thank you, Anuk.
Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas to you. Anuk Karunaratne with us, the Cardinals Senior Vice President of Business Operations. Bernie will be back with us right after he tells us about Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Always a pleasure to talk about Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer that has faithfully been taking care of St. Louis families since 1927. That's right. 4 generations of Saligas have continuously owned this proud family business that still has, from day one, and still has the highest standards you could have for a local heating and cooling business. And that's why they have such a loyal clientele. We're part of it. We've been a Saliga family for the last 18 years because we trust them. I mean, of course, you can find people that are good at fixing, heating and air conditioning problems or whatever, but that's just one part of it. Do you trust the people to do it right? Can you count on them to be reliable when they say they're going to show up at a certain time? Do you cringe because you sense they're trying to talk you into something you don't need or you can't afford, but they keep kind of twisting your arm in a gentle way? Have you ever felt uncomfortable with that kind of stuff? Before we started calling Saliga, I know that we felt uncomfortable with that kind of stuff, but with Saliga, it's the exact opposite. And I just want to emphasize this because you can go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com and see all the services, including the Priority Club maintenance program. It'll save you Monday. But The thing about Saliga, I want to emphasize, if you've never done business with them, they really believe it's up to them every single time you call on them. They have to earn your trust, because if they can earn your trust every single time, they will earn your business. And that has been their attitude since 1927. And I personally think that's really powerful. So if you want to find out more about this great family business in St. Louis, the Saliga Heating and Cooling, go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. You'll get the phone number there. Thank you.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. 2025 was a turning point for America. House Republicans didn't just talk about the challenges facing our country, we delivered real solutions. I was proud to stand beside President Trump to deliver historic tax cuts, secure our border, and eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. This year, my office helped constituents by solving over 500 cases and returning to them nearly $1.8 million. I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and can you believe it's already the holiday season? While most people are thinking about lights and gift lists, a lot of homeowners are also wondering if now is the right time to sell or if they should wait until the new year. So I'm here with Gloria Liu from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, what should sellers be thinking about right now?
Great question. Even during the holidays, serious buyers are still out there, and with fewer homes on the market, sellers actually face less competition. When we get into the new year, listings start to spike and competition rises. But that's never a problem for my clients because I guarantee to sell your home at your price and time frame, or I will buy it myself. Whether you want to move now or after the holidays, we'll make it smooth and stress-free.
That's why Gloria Liu is the trusted choice for St. Louis home sellers. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. From all of us, happy holidays, and here's to your next move being your best one. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Christmas Day, after the presents are opened and dinner is done, grab some eggnog, loosen your belt, and settle in for some Chiefs football. The Chiefs take on the Broncos Christmas Day night.
Sightman Cancer Center game time, 6 p.m.
On your home for Chiefs football, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, we got a few minutes left with Bernie Miklas, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin dealer with Bernie, with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Thanks to Anuk for joining us, Anuk Karunaratne from the Cardinals, and thanks to all of you for your suggestions. People have been popping in some power suggestions. I had a text from a friend of mine suggested Blaze Jordan maybe is somebody they should keep an eye on who could pop a few home runs. That's good. I got that. Chase Davis was another name that showed up in the comments. Yes, if he could find a little rhythm and get into a connection. So some other ones, but they truly need a big power source. Bernie, I also had a suggestion for Aeneas Williams as coach of the Battlehawks. So.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
I like that too.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
The thing about, I love the idea of Mike Martz, but you know how the UFL works. if it's still this way, and I think it is, the teams are all centrally located during the week, and they've been in Arlington, Texas. I don't know if that'll still be the thing. So it really means like not living in your own home for, most of the whole season. So it's a little more challenging that way. If in fact that's still the case in that league, but hey, there's a lot of good coaching candidates out there if they look, and they need someone that's got to be the face of the franchise and be really good at it, like Anthony Beck was. Fans here really liked Anthony Beck. Media liked Anthony Beck. So they're going to need someone who's a good coach, but they're also going to need someone who knows how to sell and promote the team in a way where he's got a sense of humor, he's got a personality. People like him. They want to be part of his team, as fans. So we'll see what they do, but it's bad timing. It's been a rough sports year locally, and now you got the UFL taking our coach away.
That's right.
It's like after the Cardinal had a tough year, the Blues having a tough year, St. Louis City SC's had a tough year, Mizzou's having a tough basketball season so far.
Speaking of
absolutely.
Last night, what did I say? It might be close. Mizzou might have a chance because it's the bragging rights game and it's on the middle of the road between the two schools. That you've got a good even crowd. Nope. That was not what I thought was going to happen.
Bernie,
yesterday.
that was one team was prepared and ready to go, and the other team looked completely unprepared.
I was really furious watching it because I want Mizzou to win. By the way, I really like Illinois a lot, and yeah, I'm allowed to have it both ways when it comes to Mizzou and Illinois. I like both of their football teams and both of their basketball teams, so I can be Switzerland. But I was furious watching it because there's certain things that are very obvious about Illinois basketball. They love to shoot the three. Their rate, like nearly half of their field goal attempts from the floor are 3-point shots, and they rely heavily on the three. And so if you're going to have any chance to beat them, you're going to have to defend the 3-point line, and you're going to have to defend it vigorously. Mizzou did the exact opposite. Now here I am, a slob on the radio, and I was delivering a scouting report. Mizzou's got to stop the three. And it's like, I guess no one, including the coach, gave the players that scouting report. They just let them take open threes all night. It was infuriating.
It really was. It was tough to watch, unless you're an Illinois fan, of course. Bernie, appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. And if I don't talk to you, man, have a Merry Christmas. I'll send you a Christmas text. You know that's coming.
All right. Merry Christmas to you guys. Take care.
And all the best to Chris Ranji. Merry Christmas and Go Bears.
Hey. Big game this weekend.
And go Hoosiers, although I got to wait a little longer for that. Thanks for joining us. For Matt Pajeski, Frank Ladd, Johnny Camp, I'm Tom Ackerman on KMOX.
A KFC tale in the